Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So we are back to our homepage here. Make sure your server is running and let's continue. So in this particular video, all I want to do is make a connection to the database. So make sure that XAMPP is running on your system this time. So let's open XAMPP control panel and just make sure that MySQL is running. So let's start this MySQL service here. I'm going to click start there. Now, if you're not using XAMPP for your MySQL, just make sure it's running and the port is correct, which is 3306. That's the default port. Alrighty then. Now, to know that MySQL is installed on your computer, just open the command line and just type MySQL like that. Alright, so if you see a message like that, then you know MySQL is installed. Otherwise, it will write something like unknown command or whatever. Okay, since we are on that, let's go to our browser and type localhost/phpMyAdmin. Now, when you do that, it's going to open the MySQL PHPMyAdmin dashboard. All right, unable to connect. Okay, so the reason is because it uses Apache server to go to MySQL. So let's start Apache server as well. Yeah, there we go. Let's try again. This time it should work. Come on, guys. Come on. Load. What's going on? Okay, so maybe running 2 or 3 servers is slowing things down. Okay, there we go. Very good. Great. Now, on the side here, there's a list of databases that already exist. So I just need to click on new to create a new database, or what I could do is just go to the SQL tab and then say just create a database. So I'm just going to say create. Since we are learning, it's better to learn the language of SQL, the query server language. So let's say create database. It's very simple. We just say create database, and then you give it your database name. So in this case, our database name will be YouTube_clone. Clone, like that. Okay, now you could just say _db at the end like that. That way you know this is a database. Okay. And then let's go down here and click the Go button. So this will run that query, and then it says MySQL returned an empty result, which is good, but it still says no database is selected. Now, normally to select a database, you just say use, and then you write the name of your database. But the problem is we're in PHPMyAdmin, so we can't do that unless it was in the command line, then we would do that. So in this case, we just have to click on our database, which is right at the end here. Click on it, and there are no tables in here. Okay, so which is fine. There are no tables. That's great. Maybe we can create one table, or maybe not. Let's just try to make a connection for now, and we can create tables later, because I want us to create migration files so that we keep track of the tables we have. Okay, so back to our code. What I'm gonna do is go to classes, and inside core, I'm going to create one more file here, new file, and this one will be the database file. So this one, capital D, database.php. So this one is in the core namespace. So let's say namespace core like that. And then let's create a class. And this one is database class, and then so that's the text right here, database. I'm gonna do that. It does not extend anything yet, so we remove that. And we have a constructor here. I think I'll leave the constructor here. This is okay. And what do I do? Let's make a connection here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say private, since this is gonna be used only inside this. It's gonna be con is equal to null, like that. All right, so that's our connection here. And so let's make a connection here, shall we? So we're gonna say con is equal to new PDF, PDO, sorry, like that. Alrighty then. Now there's always this error mode that I forget how to do, so I'm just gonna copy this text here and paste it there, because I only write this once and never think about it, but you can retype it as you see fit. So here we're going to put a string. I'm just gonna call it string, or maybe str, like that, it doesn't matter. And then here we're going to have like the user, we're gonna call it db underscore user, and then the db underscore password, like that. All right, so these are constants that we're going to get from the config file, so we're going to write those. And then here let's generate our string. The string also is going to contain the db driver, like that. Let's concatenate that with a full colon, semicolon at the end, and then we concatenate that with db host, okay, and then we concatenate or connect to it through a semicolon. Let's add the db name, the database name. So the host, the database name, we have the user, we have the password. So I think we have everything we need, like that. Okay, so this is how you make a connection to the database using PDO. Now PDO is data objects, like PHP data objects. The reason we use PDO is because, as you can see here, we're going to have to tell it what the driver is. So meaning you can use MySQL, you can use Postgres, all kinds of databases to run your website. It's easy to switch between databases if you're using PDO. So instead of MySQLi, which is the usual function that people use to connect to the database in PHP, we are using PDO instead. All right, so let's create, let's just make sure that the connection works. So I'm gonna say if con, I'm gonna say this con is equal to con. That's the connection. Now, if this doesn't work, we're going to die with could not connect to the database. Now we're gonna do errors and stuff like that. Now the best thing to do when making a connection is to put this inside a try catch, like that, okay, and then catch, we're gonna put a value like that as an exception. Let's, like so. Hopefully I haven't forgotten how to write a try catch, because I rarely do this stuff at all. So let me move all of this code into the try part. So what happens here when we put something in a try catch situation here is that if an error occurs, it's going to occur here. So we're just gonna die here. So let me move that here. So whenever an error occurs in any of these, it's going to move to this part. So that way we don't have to check if connection is good or not. We don't need this else, if else here anymore. Alright guys, so if we don't see an error, then things are working. Now, since this is inside the construct function, it means the moment we instantiate the database class, things are gonna work. They're going to make a connection here. So we'll know immediately if things are wrong. Now, another note here, because we are, excuse me, because we are inside this core namespace, it's not going to know what PDO is, because this PDO is not inside this namespace. So what we're supposed to do is say use PDO like that. Okay? You can say as PDO if you want. Now, what we're telling it is that whenever we reference PDO, we are talking about the PDO that's not inside this namespace. Because we haven't put a namespace here, we've just put this slash, which represents the base namespace, which is not a namespace at all. Otherwise, we would say something like slash core slash PDO, but this is no namespace at all like that. That way it's going to recognize this. If you don't do this, it will tell you PDO is unknown or something like that. Alright, great guys. Let's try this out. And my battery is low. Alright guys, so since battery is low, we're going to end here for now and continue in the next video.